Today's video is fully centered around the injury report for the New Orleans Saints and the Cleveland Browns. And then on top of that, I'm also going to discuss the storylines to pay attention to in this matchup for NFL Week 11. But before we dive into that, this was the most liked video this regular season. It got a total of 993 likes. So can we beat it? It's a big ask, I know. But this was a preview. This is a preview. So let's crush that number. Let's get to 1,000 likes. Because remember what happened in this game? I do. Don't jinx it. 1,000 likes. Come on, baby. Let's make it happen. All right, diving into the injury report, we're going to start off with the did not participate players. The players who were not active at practice on Wednesday for the New Orleans Saints, the first part of practice for the week. Lucas Patrick still did not participate. He's been dealing with an ankle injury, and obviously it stinks to see that he's still out because he is the last piece of the original offensive line. When you get him back, those 5 players from Fuanga to right now Nick Saldiveri, could be Lucas Patrick, Erik McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, Trevor Penning. You get them back, you're back to the starting offensive line who played really well those first 2 weeks for the record. Pete Werner, he's been dealing with a hand injury. He did not participate today. He was out there, still kind of waiting to get more updates on the severity of his hand injury. Right now, he is considered day-to-day. So it's not bad news. He was at practice. He was physically there, just wasn't participating. So, just worth mentioning there. Excuse me. Jamaal Williams, he did not participate with a groin injury. He did not play last week against the Falcons. Right now, outlook not so good for this week. However, things can obviously change as the week progresses. Right about now, we're having Kendre Miller might be pretty nice. So expect Jordan Mims to get some run. Expect Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill to get a lot of the legwork on the ground game. Now let's get to the limited participants. This is where some of that good news starts to roll in. Kool-Aid McKinstry, he returned to practice. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. Did not play last week. It is very important to get him back on the field and get him healthy. Got more updates for these two in just a second, but Erik McCoy, we discussed this the other day on the show. He is expected to play. The first designation of the week was he was a limited participant. Again, more updates coming. Just hold tight. JT Gray, your special teams ace, he's been dealing with a hip injury. He was a limited participant. Jordan Howden, he did get knocked out of the Falcons game last week for a short amount of time. Came back and finished the game. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. And Cedrick Wilson, you might get a little bit extra wide receiver depth back onto the roster because last week you had MVS, Jermaine Jackson, Mason Tipton, and I'm missing one, Dante Pettis. I believe those were your 4. I mean, yeah. Probably going to enjoy having him back on the roster. Even though he's not all that productive, but it's depth nonetheless. All right, so back to Erik McCoy and Kool-Aid McKinstry specifically. Darren Rizzi adding some context in terms of the expectations for both of these players. Kool-Aid McKinstry was limited in Wednesday's practice. Erik McCoy, he wasn't completely a full go yet, but they're going to start ramping him up, and hopefully they'll be good to go by the end of the week. The expectation from Darren Rizzi right now is that McCoy, not the expectation, the belief in what he's seeing. McCoy's actually a little bit further along than Kool-Aid McKinstry. So in terms of Erik McCoy, really, really good news. I think that he will play. There's really nothing indicating that he won't, barring a setback, obviously. Kool-Aid McKinstry, on the other hand, I need to see him get healthy. I need to see him continue to progress because I would love to see, for the first time as starters, Alontae Taylor opposite of Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, we do have one full participant. It is linebacker Nephi Sewell. He had a knee injury. He's been on the injury report, and so it's good to get him back. You get some special teams depth. He's been a very big part of the special teams unit for the New Orleans Saints, even if you go back to last year, blocking punts, making plays, all sorts of crazy stuff. So shout out to Nephi Sewell for getting back on the field. I know the Saints defense and special teams are going to be glad to have him back. Now, I do also want to add this, and I want to mention this really quick. This is why you subscribe, and it's not this picture. It's actually a different one. Actually, no, this is the right picture. This is why you subscribe. We put out a video earlier today. We put out a video earlier this morning, and you should subscribe because you wouldn't have missed it. Right now, the video is at over 10,000 views. It's a very hot topic. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you got to go watch it for yourself. But you see Drew Brees, you see Michael Thomas, Derek Carr, and got like a little faded picture. What does that say? I don't know. You probably should click the link to find out what it says. But this is why you subscribe. So we put out a video earlier this morning for you around these three guys. And, of course, not only do we talk about rumors and just random stuff around the team, we also talk about the news and the injury updates and all the things you need to know as a fan. So it's your one-stop shop. Make sure you hit the sub button. Now, Fred Greetham adds this for the Browns injury report. The Browns announced that all players on the active roster are expected to participate at practice with no injuries reported. The injury report eventually did come out for the Browns. Not a lot of players on it, like I think 4 or 5 total. Joel Bitonio was the only one who was limited with a pectoral injury. Everyone else, Jerry Jeudy, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, what is the Jed Wills? Jed Wills. I was like, who's the offensive tackle? Cedrick Wills. He also was a full participant today. So that is why you subscribe. That's why you get some information. And also, just another reason, look, this is what the broadcast map is for this week for the NFL. Right here and right here. The orange parts, I'm kind of bad at pointing here. Those are the only places that you'll be able to find the Saints game on TV. So if you're not going to be able to find it, guess what? We got you covered. We're going to be doing live play-by-play, doing some giveaways, audience interaction, a lot of fun. It's diehard Saints content by diehard fans for diehard fans. So if you're a fake fan or you're a phony or you're not really even that committed to the black and gold, don't join. But if that does describe you and you are a real fan, come hang out and we'll have some good times. All righty, we got some more things to discuss on the channel. I want to talk about the storylines that are important for this matchup. But today's show would not be made possible if it weren't for our awesome friends over at Prize Picks. It's the best place to get real money sports action. And with over 10 million active members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks enhances your game viewing experience every single day. If you use our code CLNS when you download the Prize Picks app, you'll get $50 instantly when you play $5. And Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. So your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, guess what? Prize Picks keeps your lineup alive. Now, there's a big UFC matchup coming up this weekend, so here are the projections that I'm rolling with. If you want to fade these picks, you want to tail these picks, I don't really care. Just make sure you do it with Prize Picks. They don't just have UFC. They also have NBA. They have NHL. MLB is over, but they had that when it was going on. They got NFL, college sports, anything in between. NASCAR, you want to do some of that? We got you covered. And you can actually get $50 instantly when you play $5 when you download the Prize Picks app and use code CLNS. Reminder, it's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run yo game. All right, so 5 main storylines that I need you guys to pay attention to this week. First one, it's pretty damn obvious. J-Bo's return to the Dome. And if you go back in your time machine and you kind of, revisit, in my opinion, one of my personal, I hate to be that guy. This is one of my favorite plays of the season last year. I hate the Atlanta Falcons. F those guys. If they want to complain about it, don't throw a pick. I'm sorry. It's not that big of a deal. It's not the end of the world. You were going to get blown out anyway. Get over it. Last time Jameis was in the Superdome, though, he got the entire fan base and the locker room absolutely fired up. He got people starting to kind of turn on Dennis Allen more than, not that people hadn't already, but kind of got a little bit more of that going when he faked the victory formation, handed it to Jamaal Williams, and then Williams took the handoff and put up 6 in the last game of the season last year. And, if you look at Jameis Winston and you think about what he's capable of doing, it's not like this guy is the most athletic and the most mobile quarterback in the National Football League. This year he's been okay. He's had to kind of fill in after the Deshaun Watson. Everything's happened there, and I'm not here to talk about Watson because we're not playing against him. I'm here to talk about J-Bo. He's going to throw a lot of passes that are going to just be like, F it, somebody's down there. So Tyrann Mathieu, Jordan Howden, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontae Taylor, make sure you eat your damn Wheaties because I want to see us absolutely feast on Tyrann Mathieu, or on Jameis Winston. Tyrann Mathieu went on to say in a press conference today on Wednesday that he thinks that Jameis Winston's going to try and, he's one of those guys who's going to try and pick on him a little bit, and He's expecting the first play to have a deep shot, and he's like, I'm going to be ready for it. So, Jameis, we know what he is. He's a F it. I'm going to throw the ball down there. I'm just going to huck it. Somebody's going to make a play. I'm going to give my receiver the best highlight reel they've ever had. That's what he is. You have to take advantage of it. For all the reasons some of you hated Jameis, those are the things that you can exploit and go and get a dub. Now, the next thing I want you to pay attention to is Darren Rizzi's second game as the interim head coach. Now, obviously, the first game went really, really well in terms of just getting a win. But there was a lot of things to clean up. And, that happens whenever you fire a head coach. That happens when you have an incredibly injured roster. And to be honest, I think he did a phenomenal job of managing the chaos and keeping the circus all together. And this week, I want to see him do it again. I want to see him continue to have control of the locker room. All the interviews, all the press conferences he's done, all the media availability, he has said all of the right things. He's winning those aspects of being a head coach. So if he can continue to grow, he can continue to get this team to play fired up football. You go into the bye on a 2-game win streak, and things are feeling a lot better when you have to get ready for the Rams game the following week. Now let's get the pass rush to stay absolutely red hot. I got to give a lot of credit to a lot of players from last week. So not only did we get to see the New Orleans Saints get 3 sacks last week, we saw Cameron Jordan log his first sack of the season. So, hey, you got one? Let's go get another one. Chase Young, he had a great week last week. 1 tackle, 2 quarterback hits, 1 tackle for a loss, a forced fumble at the end of the game that was absolutely clutch, and he had a sack. Peyton Turner, welcome to the frickin' league. He might have had the best game of his career so far. 4 tackles, 2 QB hits, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, and a pass breakup. So I want to see those players step it up and just continue to build off a good football. But I'm calling out Carl Granderson because I want to see his name get some plays. I want to see the back of that number 96 jersey swamped all over Jameis Winston and all over Nick Chubb in the backfield. I also wouldn't mind seeing Colin Saunders make some plays. Whenever he gets active, seems like the team just gets absolutely fired up. So I want to see him make something happen, and that's just what I need to see. Brian Brzee, Christian Boyd, John Ridgeway, Nathan Shepard, let's do better at stopping the run. Let's keep things in control. Let's keep things in front of us. And I want to see this defensive line stay hot. I want to see the pass rush stay hot. But also, honorable mention, the run defense needs to be good as well. Now, another storyline, and this one specifically Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Can he do it again? One of the things that I loved about Rashid Shaheed is, hey, the play, sheet, freaking run. And then you just got to wait, and then you just got to let him get down there and throw the ball as far as you possibly can, knowing he's going to be right there to catch it. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is the same damn player. You can do the exact same thing this past week against the Falcons, averaged over 30 yards per catch, 3 targets, 3 catches, 2 touchdowns. He was electric. So let's make him a bigger part of the offense. I'm not saying he should only be used for deep balls. I think that he should be utilized a little bit more. But do not shy away from that play if the opportunity is there. And the big one, the very, very, very big one. How does Taliesin Fuaga line up against Myles Garrett? How does he perform against one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League? Because Taliesin Fuaga, it's been good, but it's not like it's been all sunshine and rainbows. He has allowed a total of 27 pressures, whereas Myles Garrett, he gets after the quarterback a lot. He has 41 on the season. He's also stopped the run 19 times. Taliesin Fuaga, pretty solid against the run. That's actually probably the best part of his game, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, he has also given up 5 sacks. Myles Garrett has had 7 sacks. Taliesin Fuaga, 7 hits allowed. Myles Garrett getting after the quarterback a lot. So I'm seeing 41 pressures, 15 hits for 7 sacks. That's a lot of opportunities for Myles Garrett to ruin the Saints offense and play spoiler against Derek Carr. So it's going to come up to Taliesin Fuaga. It's going to come up to Trevor Penning. It's going to come down to Clint Kubiak. This entire Saints offense to scheme things up correctly, to make sure things run smoothly, and to understand, look, this is a really talented football player. Can you lock him down like you did Micah Parsons? If we can get that, I think we're going to be set up for success. Now, get down in the comment section for me, Who Dat Nation. Predict the score for me. Saints versus Browns. I have the Saints winning. I'm going to go with the final score of, let's say, 27-20. I like 27-20. I feel like it might be a little bit of more high-scoring ordeal. Not a super high-scoring one, but 2017, I think we see a little bit better of an offense and a little bit more progress on the defensive side of the ball. So let me know what your score predictions are, and y'all stay golden. We will see you next time.